mentor for level 3, which is now level 5, this was back in 1999, Peter's wife, Lou. Back then, Peter was one of 4 coaches who helped me through that, plus his wife, through the level 3. Peter made a remark made a quote in New Studies in Athletics, 94 I think, something like that, where he drew my attention to the throwing a 1 kilo discus, because what I had to do for my level 3, I had to write a dissertation. I chose discus throwing. I thought, well, it's all been written, what do I do? Peter's remark was that we have young men, aged 14 and 15, can throw a 1 kilo discus 60 metres. I had a boy here last night through 60 metres. Yeah, well, I mean, look at him. He's not super tall. No. I wouldn't say he's perfect in his technique. He's probably never been near a gym. He probably does other sports. So I asked the question, why the hell haven't we got senior females that's been around forever, spend half the time in the gym getting stronger and stronger and stronger, like Peter was referring to people getting stronger and weighing 150 kilos, why are they not throwing 60 plus? So I based my dissertation on that, thanks to Peter. So I guess since then, I've coached quite a lot of girls over 50, a couple over 55, but only Dani Stevens has gone on with it to 60 and beyond. But I've been coaching Dani now for 20 years. The rest of them have either gone to other sports, got other interests, got married, had kids, that sort of thing. So I've made a few notes here before we start, and we can start here. We don't have to interrupt the young boy there. We can do some stuff from here and then go over there later. So what is correct technique? Well, discus is a complex skill, and it uses a linear movement. You go across the circle. It's rotary. It's vertical. It's got everything, but it's made up of simple skills, just like Peter did there. You learn the components, then you piece them all together. And it's generally taught from beginners would start from the power position, from the front, and you'll learn how to release it and so on. And then you move back until finally you're doing the full 1.5 turn off the back. The only shortcut to success is what? Knowledge. That's the only shortcut. The rest is hard work. The knowledge comes from you guys. But you have to have, and I think the athlete you're coaching has to be on the same page as you. Your technical model is what they see. And it can take time, and they can learn it at a young age, I believe. For me, yeah, you can learn a technique, and I saw it last night when Dani threw. There must have been, I don't know, probably 12 or 13 young girls in the competition, and plus one boy. And they all had some idea of what to do, there's no doubt, but they didn't know the fine details of throwing. I could see so much wrong with every one of them. But I suppose the unfortunate thing is, I don't spend a lot of time now with the grassroots, the beginner athletes. I'm spending a lot of time with Dani, and I have done for a long, long time. And I also teach exactly the same to other people. I've had girls taller than Dani, the right build, they've not been overweight, they've been fairly fit. But she has been different because of her attitude. It was all about her attitude. She never wastes a single throw in the circle. Every training session, every throw, she's working on something, and still is. So that's a bit about her. So I'm sorry. You'll have to forgive me if I do refer to her for a while, from time to time, because I've learned a lot from coaching her, and I've been fortunate. Apart from Peter, who I was with back in my early days, he helped me through, and so did his wife, and people like Cole Smith and Roger Green, who he mentioned, sadly passed away. but I've been fortunate too of having Mac Wilkins here, just for Dani and I, no one else. Learned a lot from Mac. Wolfgang Schmidt came in 2010, I had him for a week. Different character, Wolfgang. Great technician, couldn't coach to save his life. Mac, superb coach. I hope you're not a friend of Wolfgang, Peter, but Wolfgang, he wasn't the best of coaches.
Not saying a word.
Reserve your comment. That's the best. Reserve your comment. So what I've said, I don't want to miss anything. For me, good technique is based on sound biomechanical principles and basic physics, really. And I'm not an academic, but we have to be aware of things such as what I was saying just a few moments ago. We have to be aware of the aerodynamics of an implement, which you don't have to so much well, you don't in the shot put or the hammer throw, you do in javelin. But the discus, you can have exactly the same execution in the circle, the same tempo, the same everything. But if you don't make it fly, it's the difference between 65 meters and 70 meters, say, or 50 meters and 55. And I believe it's just as easy to learn a good technique as to learn a bad technique. What I see is young people learn from imitation, there's no doubt, but are they imitating a good model? That's where we all come in. We have to decide what is a good technical model, so they do have to imitate it. One of my sons, he threw 64.90 as a 15-year-old with a 1K discus. And every time he went out before competition, whether it was a school carnival, little athletics or whatever, he would sit and watch for 20 minutes over and over and over Wolfgang Schmidt. He'd watch it time and time again. So
Dennis, that's why he threw like it, mate.
He looked exactly like
he
it.
had Schmidt's technique, didn't
He copied his technique. Yeah. But alas, he was my height, so when it came to 2K discus, which he threw about 50 meters, he was never going to make it big time because he was just too small. But technically, he mastered it. Some contribution from me, but more from just watching a good technical model. So I hope today I can give you the finer points of what I've used from Mac, from Lou, that's Peter's wife, who was my mentor, from Wolfgang, and other people along the way. But I've learned more, I think I've learned more from the athlete. I really have learned so much from Dani. She gives me feedback all the time. So, I've been asked the question, you asked me about the discus itself, and like Peter do, how do you hold it, and how do you make it spin, and so on. And rim weights vary implement to implement. Dani throws a Nelco, sorry, not a Nelco, I shouldn't say Nelco, that's a dirty word now. Nishi, she throws a Nishi discus, has done since World Championships 2007. 74% rim weight. The new Nishi discus, which has just been introduced in Doha and they'll have it at the Olympics next year, is carbon fibre plates. The old one's a glass fibre. It's a 78% rim weight. Lovely looking discus, it flies nicely. Rim weight, unless you can throw a long way, it's not really important to have a high rim weight, because you have to impart spin on the implement. If you can't make it spin, it's not stable through the air, and it's easy to make a low moment discus spin. But if you can make a high moment discus spin, a high rim weight, it's more stable and stays spinning and carries. But I don't think that's important for beginners. Have we got any discus here? Have we got any? No? Do we?
I've got a couple of little ones.
Any you'll do. Not that we're going to try.
I'm going to go where Jason's.
Woodwork.
Wooden discus guaranteed by hole it instead.
This might have
The 750 of that.
museum piece.
I bought a brand new just here.
Well, one of the best discus I used to like was yeah, I used to say, I'll say to a beginner, if you draw a line through there, bisected the discus, what it'll say on some of the stuff you might find on YouTube, they'll say, oh, you just spread your fingers evenly in the palm of your hand. But if you put your palm in the centre there, you choke it. You choke the discus, and it doesn't. It's not easy to have it come off your finger that way. If you do that, a lot will have it come off the back of the hand, which is an absolute no-no. I used to say, right, I still do. Draw a line down the middle. Your hand really, my hand there, is in just one half of the discus there, pretty much. Not choking it, it's there. So you can impart spin off this finger. As far as little kids are concerned, tiny tots, the finger you used to pick your nose, do you remember?
I use that one all the time as well.
Yeah.
They remember
Do you
it.
remember it? Of course they do.
You know the finger you pick your nose with? I don't pick my nose. Yes, you do.
Oh, it can come off two fingers, really, but the main thing is you have to impart spin coming off the front of your hand, and you have to make it fly. At the front, volunteer please, hands up. Anyone? It's similar to shot put, you standing through, right? You know it all, man.
No, you know it.
Same thing as Peter said, but I tend to use the circle like a clock. We've got 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, Peter used 45 degrees, same thing. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Point your right foot, 10 o'clock. Oh, he's done it before. Not your left foot, I want your left foot to be sort of there.
Okay.
I'm thinking, oh, what am I doing? I'm just discus. You're not getting carried away. So, but what I find is, I'll stand up a sec. This is what you'll see. You'll show somebody that position, and immediately they'll do this. They'll just stand here and they'll go. They step to there, but where's the body weight? It's here. We don't want it here. So I would say to a beginner, start with your weight on your foot. If you can't stand on one leg, your weight's not on it. And find the concrete there. Don't go and leave your weight here. The weight has to be on this. You're on again. Now, winding up. You wind up.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Shoulder height. Oh, he's good, this block. Nice and relaxed.
I taught him the same as yours. Same
Right.
sort of distance.
What I insist on from start to finish is the use and the importance of the left arm. So as you turn, you have to end up facing 6 o'clock with your hips, turn, your chest, your head facing 6 o'clock. And then the blocking thing, as Peter talked about, is here. So left leg straight, left foot planted, right foot, pretty good, to the front. He's blocked. I use the term stability, so you've got to be stable here. So his left leg and foot for your stability, stable, shoulder height release. We don't want to see bowling or scooping. Shoulder height release. Dani in London had an exact 90-degree release there. Looks perfect in London. The angle of attack let her down a bit. So anybody else want to get in this position? And you've got to be hands-on too. You've got to... Anybody?
Feel it. You got to feel the position.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Yeah, perfect.
It's in that fall.
Save me doing it. Hit him in there.
It has to,
And I can actually throw one.
and that's what you got I do. Oh, you
Hey,
don't?
Dennis, just one thing. When you first put in the circle, you had your lip.
I had my foot
Yeah,
like that.
it naturally went to that,
Went
and
to
then as soon as you moved him straight away, then he opened his hip, right?
Yeah.
So,
And I've been teaching people wrong because I've been teaching you what I did.
oh, okay, that's right.
So,
When do you go to this?
Don't worry about that.
That's what I thought.
I know we're all in digital watches these days, but 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Point your right foot to me, 10 o'clock. I'm at 10 o'clock. That can be pointing to light. So you open up your hips are open, and like Peter with the shot. Your hips are open, but your upper body's closed, we'll say, to the direction of the throw. Relax this. But what I didn't mention to you, what I want this to do is go through, just turn to the front, hip to the front, turn it, chest to the front, head to the front. Right, then that blocks, that releases. But what I want is the left arm, and I'll just go back a step in a second. I want the left arm from here to go through the direction of the throw. So it's in the same plane that this is in. Being a rotary event, you got it? Yeah. Through the direction of the throw. I don't want it coming around here like this. I want it through the direction of the throw. The way I explain the plane to beginners, young kids, I'll say, right, you might have other ways of doing it, but what I say to them, I'll say, imagine a table, and the discus is on the table, and it starts here. When you wind up, it comes to here, gets to the centre, goes to the front, shoots off the end of the table. But it never goes above the table or below the table. That is the horizontal plane. That's the meaning of plane. If then you get this table and tilt it, you do exactly the same thing. The discus now shoots off at an angle, but it stays in the same plane. It doesn't go above the table or below the table. So if you watch good throwers, and Dani's quite good at it now, took time, from the back here, she'll get to here, the discus might be carried off the hip. It will find its high point there. Because she's leaning back, and we'll come to that in a minute, it will appear to do this, and off it goes. So side-on coaching then, whether it's this side or this side, you'll see that if you ignore the thrower and concentrate, focus on the discus on the implement, you'll see it stay, hopefully, in the same plane. It's a discus. And for me, the left arm should also stay pretty much in that plane. It should be getting to here, there it is, high point there. And from this, I think from this, don't treat this as just warm-ups. Treat this as improving your technique. Getting used to your weight being on this, getting used to your hips, driving to the front, getting used to this being planted, this being straight, this being square, not tilted this way, not tilted this way. Any questions so far? Because we'll move on. So that's the standing throw, which is what you generally teach first in the discus, then you move back to the back. Got it? Anyone else want to have a crack? Or like I said, don't just go bump and leave your weight there. You've got to get your weight on this foot. That's it, 10 o'clock. Lift your heel up there. Right, you're right. The foot placement again is like this. You've got to be in a position here this way. So your base this way's got to be spot on, and your base this way's got to be spot on. If it's too wide, how the hell can you block it? Do this one, same as the shot. So that's important. Even if you landed here, as long as this, with respect to this, is correct. Okay? That's it. Bend your knee, wind up to shoulder high, get your head up. Long, 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 longer. Relax. Now as you turn your hips, take this to create long, wide through the direction of the throw. This uses the stretch reflex, stretching here, and then bang. You can see all this on any YouTube stuff, but what you don't get told is, when does this is a big thing, when does this, after you've come off the back and turned rapidly here, when does this do this? Does it go hips first, then I'll do that, and then I'll do that, or does this go early? Does this go with this and do this one? I can't demonstrate as well as some people can, but I'll do my best. So they're the finer points that I'm relating to. So whatever you see on YouTube, they won't tell you that. You'll think, oh well, you get to the middle and you do this and you do this and you throw it. Yes, you do. But it's a timing thing. Now for me, I put a lot of emphasis on what happens here. I think we'll go straight to this actually, because otherwise we might run out of time.
So just with that stance there, I get the girls to, or even him to line up toes, knees, belly button. No.
Yeah, it is. It's okay. I'll just. This is. What? I don't do much of this, but they have to learn. We're moving back now to what's happening in the centre. They have to learn when they get to hold their weight. Otherwise, if they do this, their weight drifts and they've lost it. So what I might get you to do is line up like this. Let me just try and demonstrate this. Stand aside. I don't do much of this, but it's not a bad drill really. So just press it here and try and hold that position. Going back, and you can just keep doing it. So you're going to face the direction of the throw. You're going to get on, and your chin, knee, and toe is lined up. Is that what we say? Yeah. So you've got a javelin, stuck it straight through your head, pin to the floor.
Like this?
No, it's not sharp enough. Nah. I want, I turned and end up facing the other way. Do it. Ah. See? I want him when he does that to still have that line up and not drift and end up with things like this. Can't do that with me. Got it? So that's what you need to do. Not easy to do, obviously. That's good, mate. Well done. I might need you again in a minute.
That's something simple. That's how that feels. Isn't it?
Not easy to do when you're coming off the back with some pace and having to land there and plant your foot and hold your weight while you're turning on it. It's probably the advanced model, but we all need to know that that's the end. That's what we're striving for, even if they might not be good enough or strong enough to do it. We're striving for that. I think I'll start at the back. I think now I'll do the back stuff. Again, the likes of Mac, and I think Mac's great. If you get him on YouTube. He demonstrates a lot of good stuff. He might start. It's an individual thing too. You have to. Do you start at the back, straddling the line drawn through the centre? Or do you start on your foot on that line? Do you start facing 1 o'clock? Do you start facing 12 o'clock? Do you start facing 11 o'clock? It depends. Mac, I think, would start here and aim more or less down the left sector line. Now, I had him here for a long time, and there's one thing that we worked on with Dani, and honestly I think this is so important, because what you need in discus, you have to have control, balance, stability. If you've got no control here, forget it. It all starts here. So I'll have him back. You're on again. Then somebody else can have a crack.
You're going to muck his hair up this time again, or what?
No. So, you stand here and I'll show you first. You need to start, if you look at the likes of, say, Jürgen Schultz, for example, who again was a great technician. he starts really wide. You have to have a comfortable base here, obviously wider than shoulder width. Now when you're winding up, I think your body weight should pretty much remain between your feet. If anything, it might go to 60% to 40%, so slightly onto the right foot. Don't move your right foot. So when you're winding up, you can move this as in dot. Don't mean move it like this. You might do this and turn it, but don't be turning this at all. That stays planted. You wind up. The first thing to do is this pivot has to be on the inside of the ball of the foot. There. Right? So you do this. You wind up. When you wind up, don't take your line of vision too far. You only need to go as far as 2 o'clock. You don't have to be doing this. Take your line of vision perhaps over there somewhere. Are you with me?
Yeah.
My boy, that's my boy. So then having done that, right, you then take, you don't move this, you then take your armpit over your left toe. You don't shift your hips across. It's this that goes over there. And probably one of the good guys who did that was J. Sylvester, who wrote that book. Peter's book, J. Sylvester. He did that. Mac did that. Mac learned a lot from J. Sylvester. Now what I see, now I'm going to tell you what you'll see most of the time. The wind up, and they go. Away they go. I'll face you guys for this one. If you look at the good guys, Dani included, if you want to study Dani, and we've worked on this, she'll wind up, and then she'll get this position. The hips are open here. She doesn't just do that. She doesn't just go and turn both feet. She gets this position. It's deliberate. Right? Can you try that? Then we'll get somebody else up. Wind up. Good boy, well done. That's it. That's planted. Grind. Try and feel that you're working that foot on the concrete. You're really working it. Good. Now take this over the toe of your left foot. Keep your head up. Now you're ready to take off across the circle. Pick this up and go. Now, for me, and for everybody really, the sweep of the right leg off the back has to be wide. There's reasons for that. Your leg is a large mass. I don't know the arithmetic of physics, so I think inertia is the mass times the radius squared or something. Anyway, you've got a large mass sweeping wide, gives you a large moment of inertia. Doing the right thing in center creates the angular momentum. Getting that right gives you a release velocity. All right? All clear on that? Please say yes. So, one drill that part of Dani's warm-up, she does it all the time. She'll do that. Let's see if I can do it. I don't think I can. She'll do it slowly. I'll say, turn and end up where you started. Most people can do that, they'll just go. That's good, yeah, about that. Try doing it like this, and sweeping wide, and it's a whole different thing. So, can you try it for me? Mac called it the Allergy Drill. 4 times Olympic champion, so it must have had something going for it. A bit wider with your feet. Head up, wind up, shoulder height. Good boy. That's my boy. He's on fire today, he's on fire. So you have to feel this leading inside. Don't get to here at 9 o'clock and go with it inside. just have a bit of chalk.
Dennis, you have to keep your head up all the time. Like he just dropped his head, but it's really important. You
Yeah,
find it really
I
important.
believe so, I'll tell you
The
what.
head really.
Because if you don't, again, you'll end up leading the upper body off the back.
There you go.
Definitely, you go with the upper body, we don't want that.
Well, that's what's got a lot of nice. Floor's always going to be there.
It's all legs off the back. Upper body's passive, lower body's active. So everything's legs off the back. And I'm saying that's roughly the centre. Roughly. There's our centre line. You'll see Dani when she competes, she does this. What she's doing is seeing where the sector lines are. She wants to make sure she's right spot at the back of the circle. But what I teach is there's 5 phases to the throw, pretty much. Your double support, single support, 1 foot. Flight phase, you're off the concrete, in the air. Single support, double support, release. So having mastered this, hopefully you master this, I think then the right foot should be aimed at approximately this from here. And then in the flight phase, that's when you drive your right hip across. So you're heading that way. You drive across, you'll end up there. With that, but what a lot tend to do is they try and take a shortcut to there. They'll turn and they'll go. They're facing over this. The reason I've got that really from talking to Schultz and Matt says this. He calls it the 9 o'clock drop. I want you to do this for me. Turn and stop. Turn and stop. Like somebody else can have a go and say. Turn and stop. Right. From this point, if you watch the likes, again, watch Dani and some of the good guys, they get to there, your hip drops towards the direction of the throw, but only your hip. Some say the knee, I prefer the hip. It drops, but this is vertical, it's strong. So I'm going to grab you now, keep that out there. So that's pointing in the direction of the throw. You don't want to swing it around here. There it is. Fall to the centre. Fall, fall. Just fall. Lift that foot up. Feel yourself falling that way. Okay? I'd use Matt Wilkins' term 9 o'clock drop. You see Dani warming up, she'll do this. Show you what she does. No one knows what she does it because it looks stupid. She'll go and step back. She'll do it between throws. And step back. She wants to feel this hip falling, but then having done it, the timing's got to be right, otherwise you fall on your backside. She falls and then whips it around. And off she goes.
Are you driving your right hip upwards towards the centre so you're gentle on?
Well, you need to sweep your right foot low.
Yeah.
No, you've got to be careful. Same as Peter was saying, off the back, you don't want to be popping up. You don't want to be landing there like a helicopter. You want to come in like an airplane and in. That's got to be rapid. So much to tell you guys. How much time have we got? I mean, so off the back, going back to what he did, he wound up nicely. He loaded his weight there. But what you've got to be careful is, you'll see this a lot, you'll see. And opening up and swinging the left arm instead of getting to the 9 o'clock position, like so. I'm going. Anybody else want to have a crack?
Yeah, get him out there. Yeah.
Come on, yeah. He's
go
going to
yet?
go away being a superstar. And no one else has had a go.
Dennis, you got plenty of time.
Have I?
Yeah, don't worry. You've got plenty of time.
Here you go.
Come on. Good wide base, nice and cosy. You sit slightly.
Yeah.
You sit slightly. Some some guys you'll see, even Wolfgang, I think they'll go down like this, but then they end up coming back up out of it.
Yeah.
Sit inside here, wind up, left arm nice and long and relaxed. So you only wind up as far as your flexibility will take you. The line of vision's over here somewhere. Now the important thing now is this. Inside of the ball of your left foot. Leave that where it is. And then you take your armpit over your left toe. Not your hips, your armpit. Yeah, you sort of lean over it. I can make you all look stupid. What Mike used to do.
I do it myself.
Mike says, he'll say this. March on the spot, you kids. Oh, there we go. Marching away there. Right on, march on the spot. Get your feet a bit wider, keep marching. Turn your feet out, keep marching. Stop. That's the position we want to see there before you pick up your right foot. Got it? Important. It's creating something in here. Klaus Bartonets, people like that would say stretch reflex and so on. So like at the front, you're stretching here before you release. Try again. Oh no.
Yeah.
Left foot's going to work hard on the concrete.
Yeah.
Keep the discus trailing. Just turn and stop. Turn to 9 o'clock and stop. Good. So this should still be out here somewhere.
Yeah.
Still relaxed, not like Superman. Long but relaxed. This right leg's going to be long and wide, but not straight. The difference between being straight and being long and relaxed. And just see if you can come across now. I didn't cover this with Dani. Come across and here and try and hold that position with your weight still on it. Okay, now this is going to find the high point of your center. Keep going, keep going. Yeah. Okay, alright. Up on your heel up. Good, hips to the front, chest to the front, head to the front. Block it. Boom. 70 metres.
17 probably.
17 metres. Now there's... Hey Peter, if you disagree with some of this, you tell me.
I'm just listening because I'm going to do rotary after this, and there's similar but
different, yes.
There's different positions and movement, and you're working with a bigger circle normally than a shot circle. So that's an
it's
extra
quite a bit.
30, more than 30 centimetres.
I don't know what this is in meters. I know it's 8 feet versus 2.5 metres. The right foot plant, having come across here, and like I say in the flight phase, that's when you've got to abruptly drive this in and under. I believe it needs to plant here between 12 and 1 o'clock-ish. But a lot of people, a lot of coaches too, they like to arrive here at 3 o'clock. Matt Denny, I think, runs at 3 o'clock. Matt Denny's our #1 male thrower. He's coming down here this week. He comes down from time to time. I don't coach him full time. He comes down from Queensland and just for a week or whatever and trains with Dani and I. So I'll be pulling him apart tomorrow because that's what he does. Because he's a fine young thrower. He finished 6th in Doha with personal best, and he's only very young. The reason I want that, obviously you haven't got as far to turn, but you need to apply force, obviously, on the circle. You have to apply force because there's a vertical component and everything else. You also have to turn rapidly. Now, I coach a young girl now, she's almost like a ballet dancer. She's on a tiptoe, so she can turn real quick. But she's applying no force whatsoever. She's turning. So for me, there has to be a compromise between how much force you produce and how fast you turn. And it's debatable, there can be arguments on both sides. But I think biomechanists from N-Swiss agree that speed must win the compromise over force. It's a rotary event, so you have to be fast here. So how do you become fast here? You become fast here by everything's long here, long, long, long. When you get there, this arm, which as I say has a job to do from start to finish, it has to be wrapped across your body, trying to create some separation here between your hips and shoulders. So this is wrapped. If it's out here, you're not going to turn as fast as if it's in here. So it can be long, still long, but in here. What I tend to see is people will go, oh, I'm not flexible, this should be here somewhere. Some will bring it in here and flex it and turn like this. I don't want that. I want the timing of this, which you don't get on the internet, is important. Do you complete your pivot and then do this? Or do you take this and this is done quickly. I believe it goes with this, so you're creating this stretch reflex. Then you're blocking everything to the front, hips, chest, head, bang. I don't like to see rotating here at the front. I prefer if it's there. Like Wolfgang, like Mac, like a lot of others. The jump release, they might call it an active reverse, a jump release. I'm not against that. Dani does fixed feet, so does Perkovic. 10 out of the 12 throwers in London 2 years ago, 10 out of the 12 finalists in the women's discus threw off fixed feet. Daniel's style, even the ones that don't, they sort of throw and then they reverse and we recover. If you study them closely, they've actually blocked, released before they do that. It's not what young people see, they just think, I get to hit this, do this. No brain reaction force whatsoever. So turn and stop. Try to line in the power position here. Stop if you can. But try and plant your right foot pointing to 12 o'clock. Turn and stop. Face 9 o'clock. Don't forget it's lower body active. Turn and stop. That's it. This is there. You don't want it see it over here. Now here, again, we need to see the view from the front. We shouldn't see the discus. You've got it in a good position there. It's off the hip. But you'll see a lot of young people, it's already here. Because they've done this. The left arm's waving to the grandstand over there, whatever the trees, and the throwing arm is over here. Which is fine, providing, so what they've done, they wind up, then they partially unwind. You've got to recreate that when you get here. You have to then get that separation from somewhere. So I like to see, and I've drilled it into Dani, she trails it here. You'll see she's way back if you watch it from the front, it's way back when she's at 9 o'clock. So go across now, okay. Plant that at 12 o'clock and try and take your throwing arm up to my hand up here.
All right.
Don't knock that higher. Above shoulder height at the front. So, as I said right at the start, we want that discus to stay in the same plane. Am I making sense here? Am I talking a lot of crap?
Can I ask a question about it?
Yeah, go on.
So, when I teach a standing throw, I tell kids that that angle doesn't change. And so,
Yeah, right.
90 degrees, 90 degrees,
90 degrees.
90 degrees,
Good.
and then up.
That's it. You
Oh.
got it.
Is that true in the turn as well?
Yeah, it's true. It's true throughout.
So
It's in the
when I see
same plane.
Dani warming up, I see her doing that. That's not 90 degrees.
Dani used to do, yeah, but when she commences the throw, you'll find it.
Back to there.
What she used to do in the early days, and I mean 15 years ago, she used to go up here somewhere and then drop into that standing
I
throw
think she
position.
still does it a little bit.
Well, she might.
You,
I'll tell her off when I see it. Tomorrow morning, I say somebody pointed something out, and that's good. I'm still learning. If people have got something to offer, because I don't study Dani hardly ever on video.
No,
Because I see her all the time.
You've seen her all the time, you know.
Yeah.
When you're blocking at the front or whatever they call it, you want the arms at opposite angles to continue the plane. Do you do that out the back as well?
Everything stays in the same plane.
So it's the same with the
But you won't see that of some of these wheel-fast throwers. They'll come across the back and they'll be down here somewhere. But when when they're in the power position, they found that high point and the foot position's right. This is wrapped. Then you'll see it in the same plane. So if you don't land with some degree of lean in the centre, when you plant that right foot, if you're not leaning back and you're upright,
Then you've got to start
you're going to
using
go
your
out
shoulder.
and parallel to the.
Or you're going to be lifting.
Yeah, it's got to, because you're leaning and you're coming through 90 degrees, so it goes up at the angle that you want. I didn't cover it at the start. I did with one or two people before while the others were away, but the angle of attack is so important in which in other words, the flight of the implement. Obviously, the main thing is speed of release, right? Angle of release, then even the height of release is important. And Dani worked on that before Commonwealth Games last year. She was releasing a little bit lower. What people tend to, I wouldn't say neglect, but don't pay enough attention to is the flight of the implement. If the attack, if it's leaving at 32 degrees to the horizontal, and the discus itself, the discus itself is at 32 degrees, because the angle of attack is with respect to the airflow, so we're in still conditions, no wind whatsoever. That discus, for example, would be leaving, somebody throwing nearly 70 metres would be leaving the hand at about 80 kilometres an hour. It's about 25, 26 metres per second. If you do the sums, it's quite fast when it leaves the hand. So that's going up at 32 degrees, and that's at 32 degrees. You've got a zero angle of attack. If that's 34 degrees, and that's going up at 32, you have a 2 degree positive angle of attack. So then you get lift. There's lift and drag like an airplane. If it's too positive, it'll stall like airplanes would. They go up too steep, they'll just drop out of the sky. All the athlete needs to know is that into a headwind, and you can't really coach this, it just comes from experience, I think. It needs to leave the hand with a negative angle of attack. By the time it gets into its trajectory, it'll be positive. It's complicated. I think Brian Neighbour once wrote something, he went about 150 pages on the angle of attack.
Yeah.
I couldn't follow it. You remember that? I don't know if you remember it. He wrote, there's equations and this and that. I thought, oh, Christ, what's all this about? Great coach, but I couldn't follow his angle of attack theory and all that stuff. But that's what the athlete needs to know.
Dennis, how much control does the athlete have then? Like, at
It's
Dani's
difficult.
stage, it's going to be, you know, you're going to be precise.
She's just used to it. She can make it fly.
So she can say just in the hand,
Yeah,
this way, this
just the way
way.
it comes off the hand. And if you stand behind the throw and there's a headwind, it's pretty obvious. If it leaves the hand with the right edge slightly down, going that way, it seems to go and then level off and carry. If not, it goes through the air and then this one. You do like a curveball, but I think that just comes from experience, I guess. Anybody else want to have a crack? Come on, somebody. Come on. Feel free. You gotta go.
I notice as you're sweeping, your foot is driving flat.
Right foot,
Yeah,
off the back.
yeah, driving flat towards the circle. It's not turning in.
No, but what Dani will do, and this is what I suggested, she'll come across like this,
Yeah.
but then here she'll dorsiflex the foot and
That's just her, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the way she does.
that's what she does.
That's what she does.
She'll.
So it doesn't matter which way that comes round as long as it sweeps.
But
right.
I think the important thing is is planting at 12 o'clock on the ball of the foot. Obviously, don't drop the heel. That has to be turning it the instant it touches down. And another thing too I find is off the back, and Dani has been guilty of it, still is sometimes, gets to 9 o'clock before this does anything. When I want her to use this effectively, immediately it breaks contact. Get to here, and as soon as that's picked up, it's gone. When she does that, is when she throws further. If it's a bit stop-start, it's not really these days, but it used to be a bit. She get to here and then go. She doesn't want that, neither do I.
So the main concentration point as you're sweeping should be just getting
The important things here for me are loading this correctly, as in this, getting to here, controlling this left arm, the back, important, sweeping wide with the right leg, super important.
Quick question.
Yeah, mate.
With doing that, so do you then look at getting some extra acceleration from the left leg, or left leg coming out of the back of the foot?
No.
You don't at all?
No. I used to. When I started coaching, I used to say, and others still do, they'll say, well, you get to here and you push off the back, push off the left, turn on the right. Dani feels no push whatsoever off that. All the linear momentum comes from this.
Is that why she turns her foot like that? Because that just takes that away.
Yeah, that's what she does. And it works.
How long do you expect to be between when the right foot lands and the left foot lands?
Good question. Temporal analysis, they call it. The studies all over the place. It's like you'll say, well, how long's the flight phase got to be? Okay. How long's a piece of string? If you did this and was really tight here, right, your flight phase could be nothing. But it's just bad technique. You go. Flight phase is milliseconds. I think if you get it right here, and there's been studies, if you've got your centre of mass on your left foot here, some guy called Hay, I think his name was, and another guy called Bing Crosby and Hay or somebody, they did a study. If you load your left leg properly and your centre of gravity is on it and not slightly off this way or slightly off this way, your left foot comes down where it's supposed to. I think it just happens. But it'll depend too, I think, on how much work you do here, because like we said at the start, you don't want this to be over here. You can't throw like that. You don't want it to be too narrow either. So it comes from, I think, getting it right here, which gets it right here, which gets it right here. Tempo here, right? Gives you rhythm, gives you timing, gives you distance. Boys especially, they're aggressive, but it's uncontrolled aggression. It's always boys. Girls are guilty too, but boys, you can't stop them. You got to get a whip out. So I'll say, right, mate, show me what you do, and they go like a bat out of hell. I say, okay, how fast are you going? If 10 is the fastest you can go, and 0 is as slow as you can go. I'll go, 7, 8, 9 even. I'll say, give me a 4. They go too quick off the back. There's no control. They open up. You can't get that 9 o'clock drop because you're dropping this towards the direction of the throw, going back to max 9 o'clock drop. You can't get the 9 o'clock drop if your hips facing that way. So they over rotate. You've got to stop that. You've got to say no. You get to here, and that's when you go in that direction. Hope I've covered it. No, I've not, have I?
I teach a different term.
Well, they'll say to get your left foot through quickly, you have to flex it to get it through. You don't want it to get to there via this.
it's hard to stop them doing that.
I know. It's got to get to there, pick it up, push it through.
You want to my attitude is if both feet are off the ground, you can't push.
No, you can't. You can't. Are you asking how quickly does your left foot got to get to the front?
Yeah.
Well, you're in the air at some point. Nobody goes to here, and that's still on the concrete. You should be in the flight phase. Show me what you reckon. I might have got this all wrong.
I doubt it. Much more likely that I got it all wrong.
No, I'm loving this. Come on, prove me wrong. I love it when people prove me wrong. Hey, don't hurt yourself. I'll get blamed for it.
Those throw shoes.
No, you got it, Cheryl.
So you jumped off the back.
Yes, I jump.
No,
So I teach a jump.
No.
I call it a jump turn. And so it's,
No, sorry.
and then my arms as far back as possible because the jump's whipped it back. And so then I'm doing that.
I don't want to be
You see what I
rude,
mean?
but I'd say no way.
But that's what I've been teaching.
No, I would, that's me.
Is that because you're not
Your
stable?
throws are better than
You're
mine.
lunging?
I would say no way would you jump.
So how many out of 10 are you giving for the jump?
I'm going to
Explain this to the bloke first.
Let's take a turn. I'll try and get
You missed out, didn't you?
tell me when to stop.
So that's totally normal for a discus throw.
You need it.
You should be able to cross them over.
Yeah, I could do that with Dani. You wouldn't
Yeah.
think so, the size of it. She's so flexible, my big. Well, I think. Do you want me to do that with you?
No. Thank you for that. Two things. I think that this jump that you're talking about, young kids do it automatically. And it's very hard for them to correct. I say, don't jump. They still do it. I don't know why, but once they come up to here, they have to do a little jump. And I don't know what to do about it. I'm talking about 11-year-olds up to 14-year-olds. That's one thing. I don't know about that. But the real question is something else.
Well, I think it's because they push off the left. They push off. They're all into. I have to push off the left. You don't have to push off the left and jump to the centre. You sweep this wide.
Yep.
Plant it, turn it.
Okay. Is that the explanation? I'll try
Pretty
that.
much, yeah. Don't have them
Okay.
push off the left. I think eliminate that.
Okay. I came here because I want to ask you something more important than.
Well, that's what
I have noticed here competition, a couple of people doing this. I've seen it before. They just do the normal thing. I always was told that the discus is behind you all the time,
Yeah.
around here. Okay, this is what I have seen with good results too. As they come up here, when they turn, the discus comes here. And when they do this, come up and fall that way. In another word, the discus did this.
And they're finding a home.
Again, going back to the start, if you view that side on, if that implement stays in the same plane, as long as that plane's not skewed and is like this, that's the correct thing. If you
Yeah, but this is exaggerated. I seen the young kid the other day, and he came first or second. He actually, you see, he's going to touch the ground. Okay, he's leaning. But then when he come up here, as he goes over there, he's already up there.
yeah, that's the high point. That's correct. It needs to be high, above shoulder height at the front.
Yeah, but that's what they're doing.
If it's too high, you don't want to
Okay,
take.
so
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Yep.
This high point. How do you get it to the high point? You get it to the high point because of what your body's doing. So it's still the same position, but you're now leaning. You don't get it to the high points by throwing it up to the high point. It's by what you do here.
You're not
you
actually
land
lifting
it.
it to get there. The body's lifting you, turning you up. Get
Well,
It's
it's
like
just staying 90 degrees and you've leaned over.
Well, I sort of use, let's say an umbrella, and the discus is on the rim of an umbrella, and you sit the umbrella like this, and you twirl it round. That's going to stay in the horizontal plane, that discus. If you tilt that umbrella, and it's stuck to the thing, it's not dangling off, it's stuck, it's going to go, that handle of the umbrella is twisting, it's going to go apparently down towards the horizontal, and come up. It's stayed in the same plane. It's all about staying in the same plane, everything.
I always try to use a fixed wing plane, to angle the attack, not dropping them out and staying.
Yeah, well, that's correct. Yeah, it's all about the plane and the orbit and how it leaves the hand, and it's all of the above. How am I going for time?
I reckon we've got time for maybe just a demonstration just of everything you've spoken about today, the key points, going through one full turn.
Right, okay, I'll just go over it again. Please pay a lot of emphasis on what's happening here. It's so important. And the key points and the cues for me are loading the left foot properly, not over-rotating, controlling the left side, coming off the back, being strong here. It's all legs from here, sweeping this wide, leading with the inside, not high stop. In other words, I call it opening the hips and leaving them open until you've left the concrete. Because if you close them early, you go, leave them open. Plant the right foot between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, that way anyway, don't be over there. And I've been through that about speed versus force. Still making good use of the left arm. So it does its job here, it does its job here, wrapping, creating the separation, and does its job here for the release. Okay. There is more, but
There's always more.
Just a question on coming out the back. Did you work on an early right leg lift off, or do you like to leave it there for as long as you can?
no. Well, I think whenever it's lifted off, once you've done this and done this, you're ready to go. I think I just know from experience that Dani throws better, and she's got more rhythm if this comes off and works immediately. Don't get to here and then go.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the thing for me is, when I said throwers throw at number 8, there should be a number 4. If you find the correct tempo here, speed, you'll find your rhythm. If you find your rhythm, you'll find your timing, and the throw looks effortless. How many throws you must have had them where they say, and it looks effortless, and they'll say, I didn't feel like I put anything into it. Well, it didn't look like you did, but it's a PB, it's the best you've ever thrown. Because you've found your rhythm, you've found your timing, all because you got it right here. So for here, it's control, balance, stability. Coming from tempo, rhythm, timing. Well, that's my story anyway. If anybody says otherwise, I say, oh, okay, well, I'll try it. But go on.
Just with the blocking arm coming out, not blocking, left arm coming
Left
out
arm.
the back, do you think it should be inside the knee or it's allowed to go out?
The hip has to lead the shoulder. The hip has to lead this.
So
So keep the elbow inside the knee.
Yeah. That has to lead at all times, really. So if you unwind here, which you can't help but unwind to a degree, you have to recreate it when you get here.
Yeah.
And it comes from,
Yeah, I know some throw their arm coming out of the back.
and try and hold it in the middle.
that's what I jump on immediately, because
like
they can't get this. I'm a big fan of this 9 o'clock drop thing, and this being a nice strong position.
Yeah.
You can't get that if you over rotate. I know you used to say when I started coaching, I'd say, turn here to the direction of the throw. This used to be me. I've changed my thoughts over time. And I used to say, here, push off the left, turn on the right. I'm totally against it now. But it's only come from a lot of years of working with people and Wolfgang and Mac and so on. So I have changed my thoughts from when I first started. So you just base your whole throwing, your model, your technical model, you have to base it on biomechanical principles, basic physics, the angle of attack and the orbit and all that sort of stuff. and the wide sweep of this leg. It's all got to be based on good throwing principles, good biomechanics. And I really believe that young people can learn this as easy as they can learn a bad technique. But I think what you have to do with your athlete is insist that they don't waste any throws in training. Boys especially. If you've got two boys, same age, all they do at training is compete against each other and learn absolutely nothing. You've wasted my time. They do.
Yeah, we know.
I said, well, and they go away thinking, I had a great training session. I threw further than you. No, you didn't. You didn't learn a thing. You just reinforced bad habits. And that's what it's all about. Any more? Anybody else want to have a crack at these positions? Feel free. But I hope I've tried to cover most things. Certainly the finer points of what I think are important in the back, the centre and the release, and the use of this arm. It's got a job to do right from the start.